You're listening to the Murder Speaks podcast, the show that spills the tea about true crime. Here's your host, Wendy Hinbest.
Hey, welcome back to Murder Speaks with your host, Wendy.
And your co-host, Brent. My job, as always, is I'm hearing the story for the first time just like you. Hopefully, I'll be asking the questions that you're thinking of so we can fill in any gaps in the story and in the overall narrative of the case. Take it away, Wendy.
Okay. So today's real crime story is about 24-year-old Alessia Mesquita of New Haven, Connecticut. She was born in New Haven, Connecticut, June 20th, 1992, to parents Sandy and George Mesquita. She was the second oldest among her 8 siblings. She graduated from East Haven Adult Education. Alessia worked for Home Depot.
What was that? Where'd you graduate from?
She graduated from East Haven Adult Education.
So did she drop out of high school and go back and get an adult, what do you call it? In Canada, they call it a GED. I'm not sure what they call it in the States. Do we know if that's what she did, or?
I'm not sure about that.
Yeah. It just sounds weird because she didn't graduate from a high school, so I'm assuming maybe she quit high school and went back and got her GED at this adult center or something. Anyway, I was just confused. Go on.
Actually, I don't think so because she did. She was in high school, so I mean, maybe she left school. I'm not sure.
I'm assuming she dropped out of high school for some reason.
Nah, I'm not sure about that. By 2022, she was employed as a medical assistant with Endocrine Associates in Bradford. Alessia worked for Home Depot for several years before deciding to pursue a career in the medical field. She graduated as a medical assistant from Brantford Hall. By 2022, she was employed as a medical assistant with Endocrine Associates in Brantford. When Alessia was a child, she loved school. She would come home from school and do her homework right away. She worked hard to get good grades. During her freshman year at Wilbur-Cross High School, she met her best friend Liz. And in 2010, she started dating fellow student Joseph Martinez. They started off as friends, but then started dating. In February 2012, they got married at 19. 11 months later, in January 2013, Alessia gave birth to their son, Joseph Ray Martinez.
Martinez.
Latin.
So she got married at 19?
Yeah.
And then I had a kid at 20 years old?
Yeah.
I mean, my parents did that, so it's not I guess it's not that shocking for me, but my parents actually worked. I mean, 90% of these marriages don't work at that kind of age. That's way too young to be getting married and having kids.
Yeah.
92, so this would be... No, 92 she was born. So 2002, 2020. This is very recent, and this is only a few years ago.
Yeah. Joseph got a good job at the hospital to provide for his family, and Alessia was a stay-at-home mom.
Wait, was he 20 as well?
He was 19.
He got a good job at a hospital at 19 with no education? I wonder what a good job is. Maybe it's maybe it was transporting stuff or something. Probably not a good job from how you look at it, but maybe a good job for a 20-year-old without an education.
Maybe.
Formal education.
Possibly, yeah. Alessia still made time for her friends. Alessia and Liz used to go on trips together. Being young parents took a toll on Alessia's and Joseph's relationship.
Yep.
Things weren't working out. And in June 2018, Alessia and Joseph separated.
Shocker.
Alessia and her son moved in with Liz. Alessia continued to co-parent with Joseph. She started to feel like herself again. She started dating, and she was happy.
You have a young child, and your highest priority is going out and dating. This is why you shouldn't be having kids when you're 19, 20 years old. It's so ridiculous.
In 2018, Alessia moved into a house in West Haven with 2 friends. She wanted to have more room for her and her son. She got a job as a medical assistant at an urgent care center. She loved her job as she loved helping people. Alessia started seeing somebody new. He was a kid she used to have a crush on in elementary school. His name is Rashod Newton. He was a painter for his uncle's company. 8 months into their relationship, Alessia found out she was pregnant. Alessia's mother was eager to meet Alessia's new boyfriend, so she invited him over to dinner.
For somebody working in the medical profession, you'd think that she would have heard of condoms or birth control pills at some point.
Her mother noticed he was very touchy, but he appeared to be very into Alessia. Liz invited Alessia over for a pool day, and she asked if Rashod can come. And Liz is like, sure, no problem. That's when Liz started to notice Rashod's behavior. Alessia wanted to get in the pool, and Rashod didn't want her to go in the pool.
Because she was pregnant?
No, he just wanted her to just sit there next to him. He wanted her all to himself. Didn't want her to be in the pool and have fun.
Controlling.
Pretty much wanted to control her. One day, Alessia's mother was out with the kids, and she received a call from her daughter. She asked her to go home because Alessia and Rashod were fighting. Alessia went through Rashod's phone because she knew he was talking to other girls. Then one night, Alessia's mother got a text from Alessia saying Rashod shot her roommate.
What?
The police interviewed Alessia's injured roommate as he was released from the hospital.
Her roommate? Wait, this girl's roommate was a guy?
It was a guy, yeah. And from what I gather, I think they were arguing because maybe when Rashod and her were arguing, and this particular roommate tried to get in the middle, maybe tried to stop the fight of something that happened, and yeah, Rashod shot him.
My guess would actually be this Rashod guy. This is very predictable pattern behavior. Girls, if you're listening to this, put your thinking cap on. When a guy is being controlling and telling you what to do, it's only gonna get worse. Mm-hmm. That's a red flag. Get the hell out of that relationship.
Yep.
He's cheating. He expects her to be cheating, so that's part of why he wants her always right by his side, so he can make sure that she's not doing the thing that he's doing. I think that the reason he shot the roommate was simply because he believes that the roommate was sleeping with her or wanted to sleep with her. That's my suspicion.
I don't know. I think I read somewhere that he shot him because he got in the middle or something.
So I'm downstairs playing my game, and then I hear him start screaming and bugging out. I went upstairs and I told him, I said, listen, like, you gotta go. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you are to her. You break your shit in my house. You're throwing your phone on the ground, screaming up a storm. My kids are downstairs. Listen to this. For me, you got to go. I turn around and I see him pointing the gun at, putting the gun down, whatever, and then he shot me in my arm. And then my arm went numb, and it felt like 5 pounds on my arm. My arm just went down.
So what you guys can't see is the picture that we just saw of Rashod Newton. I mean, this guy just looks like trouble. You got a bad attitude, look on his face, like somebody put a plate of you-know-what under his nose. He's got tattoos on his shoulder. I mean, everything about this guy's, attitude just, screams problem. Okay, so I'm wrong. I was expecting that he was expecting and suspecting in the same sentence. My thought was that he was suspecting the roommate and his girlfriend of having an affair. It's not even the case. This guy is such a lunatic that when somebody asks him something very reasonable, like, could you stop throwing things and screaming in my house because I have children sleeping downstairs, that he pulls out a gun and shoots a father like a goddamn lunatic. Anyway, take it away. This guy's an asshole.
Yeah, for real.
I can't believe this girl was even with him in the first place.
Yeah.
And I bet she doesn't even break up with him after this. Like, how many red flags? There was enough red flags to break up with him before this, but when you own a gun or start pulling guns and pointing them at people, not in self-defense, it's beyond red flag. Like, if you don't break up with them at that point, you're a complete and utter idiot.
So the police issued an arrest warrant for Rashod. The next day, Alessia recorded the aftermath at the house. Alessia didn't know what to do. Her mother wanted her to leave him, but Alessia said she felt bad for him.
Oh, for the love of God. How stupid can you possibly be? You felt bad for him? He shot somebody else for no reason. Like, you don't feel bad for him. He's a complete piece of garbage. Dispose of him like the garbage that he is.
Yeah, I agree. She wanted to have the baby and see what happens.
Oh, my Christ.
So
I know what happens. This guy's going to shoot other people, probably Alessia, which is why we're doing this story in the first place. Like, it's predictable. Like, you know what's going to happen. People don't become less violent over the course of time. They only become more violent.
Yep.
They only ever become more violent.
Yep. Yes, I agree. So on February 17th, 2020, Alessia gave birth to their daughter, Aaliyah Grace Newton, and her nickname was Lele. Rashod came out of hiding to see his daughter at the hospital.
But he's not been arrested at this point?
He was hiding.
Oh, my God.
They couldn't find him.
And she's not breaking up with him. He shot somebody and he's hiding from the cops.
She was
He's
still
not,
with him at this point, yes.
Not taking responsibility for what he's done.
He was hiding.
And she's like, no, he's a good person. I just feel bad. He's not a good person. He is a piece of garbage.
Yes. So Rashod came out of hiding to see his daughter at the hospital, and then he went back into hiding with Alessia and the baby.
Oh, God.
Alessia lost her job because of COVID. So
That's why she lost her job? Not because she stayed with this asshole that's shooting people?
No, because of COVID. This all happened around COVID.
If I ran any kind of medical practice and I had employees who were dating, married, whatever, people that were just wandering around shooting people all the time, I'd be like, no, you're not allowed to work here anymore. It would have nothing to do with COVID.
So they struggled financially.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
It appears Rashod didn't really contribute financially.
No way. The guy in hiding for shooting somebody didn't have a job? No shot. Oh, my God. I don't even feel bad for anybody in this story now, except for the baby, because the baby is innocent and all this. But, like, I mean, this is unbelievable. Stupid.
Okay, so Alessia focused a lot on her kids. She couldn't.
Not really. If she was focused on her kids, she should have broken up with this violent asshole.
Yeah, that's true. I would have, to protect my kids, I would have left him.
Yes.
I would have ran far away.
He owns guns and he shoots people when they get annoying.
Yeah. But she couldn't give their daughter, Aliyah, too much attention because Rashod would get jealous. He was crazy. This guy was nuts. He was jealous over his own kid. Anyways.
Oh, it's not even her kid from the first marriage. He got jealous when she...
His own kid. They had a kid together. They had a daughter together. Oh, and when she gave their daughter, the daughter they shared together, more attention, he would get jealous.
Yeah, this girl is so
crazy.
Dumb. She should have ditched his ass, gone back to her parents' house, bought some guns to protect herself from this guy.
So around June, Alessia texted her friend Liz asking for money for a tow. So, of course, Liz, being her friend, sent her the money. So when Liz tried calling Alessia to see if she was okay, Alessia didn't answer. So Liz called Alessia's mother to find out if Alessia was okay. And then Alessia called Liz back from her mother's Facebook because Rashod took her phone and contacted many people pretending to be her asking for money. So that text that Liz got asking for money for a tow was not from Alessia. It was from Rashod. In July, Alessia told Liz that Rashod pointed a gun at her.
No way.
He was controlling her. Rashod told Alessia that if she ever left him, he would kill her family.
Yeah.
But Alessia was ready.
That's exactly what somebody like him would say.
But Alessia was ready to leave Rashod.
She's gonna have to go into hiding now.
She called her mother to pick her up. So her mother went to pick her up and recorded the drive with her phone just in case something happened, but nothing did. March 21st, 2021, Alessia told her mother she was going to Target with Rashod.
What?
Yeah, so she broke up with him, and then when her mother got home, she was standing by the door ready to go out. Her child was ready to go out, and her mother's like, where are you going? And she told her mother, I'm going to Target. And her mom's like, you're not going with Rashod, are you? And she was like, don't worry, Mom, I'll be right back. Everything will be okay.
No, she's going to die.
So anyways, but unfortunately, she never came back.
Of course not.
That was the last time her mother saw her.
He tricked her. Oh, yep. I hate calling victims dumb because it's just mean, but there's just no other word for it.
I always tell our kids, when you break up, I know I sound like a crazy mom sometimes, but if you break up with somebody and then they ask you to meet them somewhere secluded, don't go. It could be a trick. Don't do it, right? So on March 22nd, 2021, an officer was working construction detail in the morning when he heard gunshots. He heard about 5 or 6 loud bangs.
5 or 6? How many gunshots does it take to kill your ex-girlfriend?
He didn't know if it was fireworks or gunshots. And then he observed a male pointing a gun over a female lying on the ground next to a vehicle. So the officer immediately started to radio dispatch. The male jumped in the car and took off. And unfortunately, the female was deceased. At the scene, there was a backpack and some shell casings and a baby bottle. And the police found her ID. The victim was identified as Alessia Mesquita.
I don't know if I'm supposed to act surprised at that point because it was so obvious it was going to happen.
She lived a couple of blocks from the scene of the crime. Alessia's mother heard gunshots and she had a bad feeling. Then she heard somebody banging on her door. It was the police informing her Alessia was deceased. She told the police Rashod was responsible. She told the police that Rashod drove a gray Toyota Camry. And it was the same vehicle the officer saw the male drive off in after the shooting. So the police started looking for the baby, Aaliyah. The police launched a manhunt for Rashod and the baby.
If I didn't do a manhunt when he shot somebody the first time.
I know. The police located a residence that had a camera that pointed to where the crime was committed. So when the police reviewed the footage, they saw exactly what happened. They saw a vehicle pull up to the intersection and stop. A female jumped out of the passenger seat and tried to open the back door.
Trying to get her baby out of the car. He was probably pointing the car at her at that point.
The vehicle took off.
Did I say pointing the car at her or pointing the gun at her inside the car?
Yeah. The vehicle took off and the female ran towards the car and began to scream. Then the car stopped and a male exited the car and fired about 6 shots. The female fell to the ground. Then the male got back in the car and took off. A police officer found the car parked in a residential driveway about an hour after the shooting, and there was a baby seat in the car but no baby. The police found another camera close to where the car was found.
Cameras all over the place these days.
So the police reviewed the footage, and around 9:22 a.m., a black male exited that vehicle. He got the baby from the vehicle and started walking down the street holding the baby. The police officer was parked, and he could see a group of people leaving a residence holding a baby.
I mean, the funny thing is, what the hell does this guy even want with a baby? Like, he's not the kind of he's not the kind of person that wants a baby. He's not going to take care of the baby. I don't even know what the thought process. There is no thought process, mind you. People like this, they're kind of think like animals.
Yeah.
Like, instead of like reason and logic and stuff like that, it's just reacting
Rage.
to whatever's happening. Yeah.
Snapping, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's not even snapping. It's like something happens and you react. You don't put any thought into what you're doing ahead of time. It's just something happens and you just react, and oftentimes the most violent way possible. There's no logical, rational thinking going on inside that brain.
Okay. The police officer was parked and he could see a group of people leaving a residence holding a baby. The police approached them and they confirmed they are related to Rashod. Then the police found Rashod and the 1-year-old child on Eastern Street a short time later. So the police...
Wait, sorry. A group of people left the house with the baby or a different baby?
No, well, the police saw a group of people, and they were holding some sort of a child covered. I guess if they were, maybe it was covered in a sheet.
But it wasn't Rashod's, because they found Rashod with the baby somewhere else.
No. He probably went to his family's house and gave them the baby.
Yeah.
And then the police saw the group of people walking with the baby, and then the police confirmed that they were his family.
Yeah, and then they probably went and found Rashod, and the family probably came with the baby, so that's how they got Rashod and the baby, or whatever, something like that. Okay.
Something like that happened. But anyways, they found Rashod and the 1-year-old child a short time later.
That's the important
And
thing.
the police arrested Rashod, and the baby was not hurt, but was taken to the hospital to be checked out as a precaution.
Mm-hmm. Well, you also want to check for any kind of abuse or sexual abuse, because you never know with guys like this.
Yeah. So at the police station, Rashod was interviewed.
No, when I stopped the car, she jumped out. I really just lost it. Like, I had enough. So what do you do? I immediately just opened fire. I don't even know how many times. I killed her, man. I killed her, bro.
So it's an open and shut case here. This guy, in his own words, admits to what's happening, but I think he's trying to make it seem like second-degree murder by saying, like, we were driving, we got into an argument, I don't know what happened, I just got out, I started firing, I don't even know how many times. I don't think it's second-degree murder. I think this is first-degree murder. I think he went there. I mean, he drove to her house with a gun,
Yes.
got her into the car, and within minutes or seconds maybe, she was dead. I mean, the mother heard bullet shots from her house. Like, it's not like he drove all the way to Target. It's not like he drove across town while they were arguing. Like, she got into his car, and within, I don't know, a minute or two, she was dead. To me, that's first-degree murder. He's trying to make it seem like, I don't know, I don't even know what happened. He didn't say no what happens, but he's trying to make it seem like we were in an argument and it just kind of happened. Like second-degree murder? I think it's first-degree murder. I think he went there with the intention of murdering her. It'll be interesting to see he'll probably plead guilty to second-degree murder, though, because it's a lot easier for the DA, and proving first degree might be difficult in a case like this, but I'm sure it is.
So the morning of the shooting, Rashod and Alessia woke up at an area hotel and drove to New Haven. They got into an argument.
Wait, what? I thought she was at her mom's house.
She went to her mom's house, and then she left to go to Target. But then when I was doing my research, it said that morning, they that morning they went to, maybe that night after Target, they went to a hotel.
Oh, so she wasn't shot the day that she left her mother's house. She was shot the next day.
It looks like, because it said they woke up at an area hotel.
Oh, okay. So, okay.
Yeah.
So maybe not first-degree murder then, like I thought. Maybe it was second-degree murder.
Maybe he just snapped. They got into an argument. Alessia wanted to get out, so she asked Rashod to stop the car. So he stopped the car, and she got out. She went to get her baby from the back seat, and Rashod drove off. So Alessia started running.
Drove like 10 feet. It was literally just like, he was at the intersection when she got out. He literally just like turned left and drove.
And stopped.
Like literally 10 feet. And then just got out of the car and just shot her.
It looked like, exactly. So she started running and screaming after the car, and Rashod stopped the car, and he snapped and shot her several times. So Rashod was charged with murder, criminal possession of a firearm, and risk of injury to a minor. It is alleged that Rashod struggled with drug addiction, and Alessia believed that she could help him.
Okay, girls, you cannot help him. You can't help your friends. You can't help anybody. You can be supportive to a point, and then if a person starts to exhibit like violent or criminal behavior, you much like if you want to save somebody that's drowning in an ocean, you don't just swim up to them, right? You might throw them a life jacket, whatever. If you can get them to turn around and calm down, you might be able to go up and get them from behind. I think it's called a dead man's drag. You go up behind, you put one arm like through their armpit. That's beside the point, and you drag them to safety. But when a person like this, like drug addiction and violent behavior, you can't help him. Like the best thing you can do is get as far away and don't agree to go to Target and stay in hotel rooms with them. No. That's how you get killed. It happens over and over and over again.
Yep, not true. Anyway, she wanted to help him. She wanted to help him overcome his issues. She was hoping he would change and become the partner she desired.
It's not going to happen. Find the partner you desire. Don't try and take a piece of garbage and turn it into a person who's other than that, because they won't change. They won't change that much. People will change a little bit. They'll soften around the edges. They'll change a little bit.
Temporarily.
No, not even temporarily. Like, as you age, you change a little bit. And, like, a person, like, there's, like, people in, like, college and that. They go out with their friends. They might get drunk. They get into, like, a fist fight at a club. They might do that once or twice. Now, if they're doing that every weekend, but if they do that like once or twice while they're in college, it's like, as they get older, they're going to drink less. They're not going to be getting into like these kind of altercations. They're not really a bad person. They're just young and full of adrenaline and testosterone but they'll kind of settle down. But a person that's like just real criminal behavior, that's only going to get worse. It never gets better. With the odd exception that sometimes people like with drug addiction, whatever, they do hit like a moment in their lives where they want to change. And it's not just like a little change, it's like a 90-degree change. Yeah. They get help for their drug addiction. They seek out like maybe social worker assistance. They'll actually start working on getting their life back in order again. But that comes from within. It's not, you're never going to change that person. No. They'll only change if that's what they want to do. And it comes from something within their life. Usually like some type of a traumatic incident or something that makes them want to change. But you're not going to just make them change because you feel like it. Yeah. It's ridiculous. Never happens.
So Rashod had a criminal background even before meeting Alessia.
Yeah, of course.
In 2012, he faced narcotics charges and received a 5-year sentence. In the same year, he was given an additional 22 months after pleading guilty to a felony charge of carrying a pistol without a permit. In 2016, he was sentenced to a year in prison after pleading guilty to a third-degree assault charge. And in the same year, he received a 6-year sentence on narcotics charges, which was suspended after 15 months.
Yeah, this is the guy she thinks she's going to change, right?
This guy was a winner. On March 25th, 2021, family and friends gathered for Alessia's funeral. Now, Alessia didn't have any life insurance, so the community got together and made a GoFundMe page.
For the funeral?
Yeah. Rashod pulled her away from all the people she loved, abusing her financially, emotionally, and physically. But all Alessia ever wanted was to help him with his drug problem.
Don't.
Rashod pled guilty for the murder of Alessia Mesquita. He also pled guilty to the assault of Alessia's roommate in 2020. On January 26, 2023, Rashod Newton was sentenced to 35 years in prison, and the court set its bond at $3 million. Rashod is currently 30 years old and is serving his sentence at the McDougall Walker Correctional Institution. And as per his current sentence, He will be released from prison in 2056. Alessia's mother got custody of Aaliyah and has been raising her ever since.
Yeah.
Sad, very sad. I mean, it could have been prevented. This whole thing could have been 100% prevented.
It's always sad, but it's like wildly predictable.
It is.
I don't know what to say. It's always wildly predictable.
Yeah. The red flags are there for a reason, people. You have to, don't ignore them.
Go with your instinct. And don't, like, you know, when your friends and family are saying this guy is no good, don't just be one of these girls that just tucks her head between her ass cheeks and ignores everybody and just goes funnel vision, no, he's perfect. The very small things, I can fix them. You can't fix them.
No.
You know, if your friends and family are telling you to watch out, watch out. Don't just shove your head up your own ass and act like you don't see what's going on or act like you don't care, it doesn't matter. Like, it's not exactly suicide, but you're going down a path that is most likely going to turn violent and could very easily wind up in your death. And even if it doesn't wind up in your death, it'll wind up in your financial ruin. Like you're with a guy that's has drug addiction issues, maybe he has alcohol issues, he's committing violence, he's in and out of jail his whole life. You're going to be living in poverty your whole life.
Yep, 100%. Stay away from someone like that. Yeah. Don't ignore the red flags, man.
And you're not just doing it to you, you're dragging your kid down into this too.
Yeah, and she had a baby with him. Ugh, I can imagine. Yeah, but anyways,
watch out for the red flags. Get out of bad relationships. Listen to your friends and family. You know, when they're warning you about people, and you know, make right choices. Like don't just bury your head in the sand and just continue forward because I've got a history with him and I care about him. It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. It's not worth it, people. For everyone out there who knew Alessia Mesquita, we're very sorry for your loss.
It sucks.
We mean no disrespect. All of our sources are in the show notes. And before we go, we just want to mention we do have a Patreon.
Okay, well, go check out the Patreon site. It's how much is that? $3 a month?
It's $5 a month.
Okay, so go check out Patreon. It's $5 a month. You get one episode per week, and it's an extra episode. So if you like the show, you're going to want to hear the extra one.
Yeah. So, yeah, go check it out.
What's it called?
It's called Murder Speaks.
On Patreon.
On Patreon.
It's the exact same name as it is on YouTube, so it's easy to find.
Yeah, that's not forgettable, people. Okay, thank you for listening, guys. We'll see you on the next one.
Sleep tight.
Bye.